Welcome again. Welcome back to the Abuse Cartoons live stream. Okay, so it looks like we got disrupted and yeah, YouTube just took us on. So I'm okay, so this is a totally different setup, totally different internet connection. Everything is different from Friday. The only thing in common is Restream. So we may have to dump Restream. Because the likelihood that both internet connections in the city and at home are that bad that doesn't seem possible. Yeah, I might have to switch to something else. This is ridiculous. So sorry. So I was like, yeah, maybe it's good that my stupid story got cut off. All right. Well, Matt, sorry about that. We were just, yeah, talking commutes and stuff. Oh, this is brutal. All right. Well, and as you can see, I'm well into doodling my air sickness bags. All right. Oh, yeah, maybe we can just do, so yeah, a tinier one and a bigger one. I think this would work as one of those, like, oh, come on. Yeah, it was one of those odd couple type cartoons. So the vacuum cleaner bag, of course, has that weird hole in it. All right, so let me see if I can get back to... Yeah, so I had to piece together... I had to do this for the weekly as well. It was three... It broke twice, so I had to piece together 3 videos, and people like the... people like the pieces better than the... Oh yeah, now I got to tell that story all over again. I told it back in, what, 2019? Yeah, so just a piece, my letter got lost in the mail. I ended up in California instead of New York, and everything changed. Yeah, my future was completely different. And then, yeah, my ex and I couldn't, when I was kind of done with LA, my ex wasn't. So that made, oh, maybe do this. That made it impossible to proceed. So that was brutal. Yeah, so the only common denominator between the weekly and this cartoon stream is Restream.io. Yeah, it's really weird. So I don't think both internets would have choked, yeah, like that. This one sometimes goes down like weirdly in the middle of the night, so that may be like resetting something or rebooting something. So like at 2 or 3 a.m., sometimes I'll lose internet. Why I'm up at that time, I have no idea. But I'll lose internet sometimes. Yeah, this really sucks. So fragments of streams. But yeah. And I couldn't even tell because YouTube looked fine, but my OBS, when I glanced over it, I got to keep it a little bit more in iShot. It was red, so I don't know how long it had stopped sending. Yeah, I don't have anything weird running. I mean, 2 completely different computer systems, 2 different internet connections, and even different software because I'm not using the vanilla OBS at the studio. Encoding overloaded. Huh, I just got a warning. Because I bumped it down so that Twitch would like it better. Oh, this is terrible. Wow, it's neat to watch me work out technical problems on stream. All right, well, we'll do that for the first one. Yeah, it's really weird. Nothing has changed. Like, I haven't changed anything in my setup at all. No, graphics or anything. Very strange. And it's not overusing not overusing the CPU or anything. Yeah. Very odd. Well, this dampens my hopes. Hey, unknown girl, how's it going? I'm kind of having a good night. I'm having a disconnected night. Yeah, Restream lets me go to 3 different, up to 3. If you pay, you can do more, but the free version lets you go to 3 platforms. So I go to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch by going through their server first, but I'm not sure that, and they've constantly been having connection problems with Facebook, and then constantly adjusting to whatever Twitch's new requirements are. Good to see you, unknown girl. I'm late, a little bit later than usual. I was trying to do earlier, like last week I started to do earlier, so maybe I missed a bit of Australia because of that. The the time difference is not so great. Just the seasonal difference. So sorry, this is another, I can't believe this, 2 in a row now. So Friday was a mess. And it's interesting, both Twitch and YouTube held it as a single video just with breaks, but YouTube broke it, closed the stream and made it a different file. So I released 3 videos on Friday. It said Upturned Table has released 3 videos. It was just fragments of broken. And it's funny because the one place that it cut was when Chris was saying goodbye. So it just goes from we're kind of winding down and then just gone. Yeah, just Chris is like out the door, the off mic stuff. Yeah. You can take a look. I stream, if you pay for it, you can stream onto your specific page. But I just stream onto my personal timeline. If you want to have a look at that. So my personal timeline is just spamming all of my my live streams. And people are asking me to, or Facebook is asking me to boost my the visibility of my posts by paying them money. Wait a minute, didn't they used to give me access to everything? I think that's so ridiculous. And I can't remember when exactly that happened, but Facebook just what is going on? Facebook, you had access to everybody on your friends list when you posted stuff, and then suddenly it started saying this post only reached 11 people. Would you like to pay some money to reach everybody? It's like, wait, what happened? Why did you? Because they went in. Oh, hey, Zufalo, thank you for the follow. I don't know if the notification popped up. Maybe it got lost in the disconnect. Nice. Yeah, oh, there we go. Thank you, Zufalo, for the follow. Nice. What a stream. Let me just post this in in wherever. Can't do this. Oh yeah, that's right. Reddit has a way to do that as well. I just saw that. Yeah, sometimes you'll see that like most watched stream every time when I'm like flipping through Reddit. I'm mostly just like I'm looking at game stuff, and they always put that video window in the middle of the stream of your swiping things. And I don't forget what it's called, but it's always like, maybe because it's like they region lock it or something, but it's always like somebody playing like some Japanese instrument or some Chinese, folk instrument or something very intently. There's a lot of like people with guitars, so every time I'm streaming or swiping through that, I'm like, ugh, always someone playing. But I guess like if you just put that on in the background, that's a nice thing to have on stream. But I never like seek out somebody playing a guitar on the internet, or even a shamisen, or any comforting Japanese. There we go. Instruments. Okay, did I post? Did I? Oh, what a mess. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so that's there we go. Yeah, when you're on Reddit and you see like somebody streaming, you're like, wait, am I on Reddit still? Is this Instagram? Yeah, there's always somebody doing something musical. But okay, there we go. Yeah, I should look into that. I don't have a subreddit. I couldn't even imagine how poorly a subreddit for this cartoon would go. I'd find the other audience for this cartoon, the hate watchers for this cartoon, if I set up a subreddit. All the people that used to message for free on Go Comics would find it. All the angry hockey dads. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, their combined chat is terrible. That really sucks. Yeah, that's a big weakness. And I think the other weakness of me doing this multiple stream thing is that I'm not effective. I'm not particularly effective on any one platform. I'm not doing it well because it still says Twitch wants even a little bit lower bitrate. Yeah, I'm not getting any drop frames, so I guess we're still good. Well, thanks for hanging in there with me. Sorry, Matt. I was in the middle of like blah blah blah. Oh, that's right. That's right, Matt. I saw that Meta $250 billion in stock. Well, how can that company be worth that much money anyhow? I mean, all they do is have your grandmother's email address. It's so funny. I remember trying to explain to my cousin like how bad things are going to get with Facebook. Like at the beginning, I was like, "Yeah, this is not going to go well." It's like, what? What could they possibly do? It's like, that social web profile, and then them getting in the way of everything. Always anything you want to log into or whatever, you log in with Facebook, and then we'll get access to all that information. And we've already seen that go horribly wrong. So yeah, I'm at home now, and I had a little internet hiccup there, and then at the office on Friday with Chris, we had that too. So I'm not sure, and I don't think they give you. I'm gonna have to go through Restream and find out if they give me any, log. They probably don't, but any logs or any service problems with the stream, to see if there's a way to track down where this happened, or if it's just a coincidence that both. I mean, maybe Japan is having bad internet. I don't know. The weather is cold, but not particularly brutal, or like not windy or anything. Because there's nothing buried in Japan, and there's gas lines, but the telephone and everything's on poles here because of earthquakes. So we get a little bit more disruption than people that have stuff more securely buried when there's like windstorms or other disruptive things. But I think we would have constant disruptions from earthquake. Like it would just like break in so many places during an earthquake, they would never be able to repair it again. So everything's on poles. That's why you see beautiful Japanese countryside and like little tiny towns and stuff just covered with utility poles and wires everywhere. Is because they have to put everything above ground, and so just uglies up Kyoto and Nara, some of the old traditional cities. They're very beautiful and have beautiful houses, and then just ugly poles everywhere with crows sitting on them. There's like big murders of crows sitting on your utility poles. That's a very Japanese image, like maybe more so than like a Zen garden, the dry garden at the temple, or anything in Japan is a utility pole with power lines and telecommunication, and then crows sitting all over it. That's like super Japan. Uh, yeah, I'll have to double check. Yeah, it's different companies. The local and the or my home and work are different internet companies. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's crazy. But yeah, I'm glad we could get back on. Uh, yeah, I got to be careful of going too much into my rambling story mode. I totally lose everything. That's what's nice at the weekly, at least. When I have Chris, I can like at least glance over and check status of things when Chris is talking. But when it's just me rambling on, uh, yeah, very weird. Yeah, I saw there was I forget what the source was, like New York Times or something, but talking about the huge the huge value drop. It was because of an earnings report, and then some response that Zuckerberg gave to for the lowered earnings and the weird expectations. Like they've already invested like $9 billion into the metaverse, and basically he said that this is a long-term thing and we're not going to see any we may not see anything come of this until like 2030. Which is like, people were like, getting my money out now, getting my money out now. But then they're also talking about they need to, you know ape these, if that's the word, just copy. They just need to rip off these short video sites like TikTok and things. And they do, like Facebook seem to have an answer, kind of like Google does. They just have an answer for every platform that becomes popular. It's like, oh, you like short videos? Here's our short video program. Oh, you like audio only discussion rooms? Here's our, it's not Campfire. What was it called? The one that became popular with professors and kind of politics for a while, where you have like a stage of speakers, and it's all like an audio chat. I forget what that was called. Yikes! Am I still online? Now I'm getting paranoid. All right, but I rekindled an old love recently. I'd been meaning to do this for a while, and I even brought it up on the weekly. But I played back in the day when there were like a million MMOs, when there was a new MMO every month, it seemed, between the Korean ones and the American ones. The Age of Reckoning, the Warhammer Online Age of Reckoning. So it's not great. It was an EA, the studio that did it was owned by EA, and so they were very cowardly. Once they didn't see World of Warcraft numbers, they completely, dumped it. So it was only around for a couple of years. But somebody's done a fan server of it, and they've actually even started to develop new content, like content that existed in kind of fragments that was like going to be later released as expansions, but they never got to. So they're actually like working on that. So they're spending, they got a bunch of people spending thousands of hours doing that. It is, yeah. So Return to Reckoning. If you go, if you look up Return to Reckoning, so you have to torrent the original, game files, and then they have a, so you don't have to install anything. They have a what's it called? The launcher. So they have their own launcher. So you have to have a copy. So I bought the game, so I have a copy of the game. So I could have just installed, my old copy of the game, but they have links to a torrent that you can download to get the old game files, and then replace the original launcher with their launcher, and it launches into their private server. And it's just, oof, it hit me really hard. It's like, oh, I loved this. I loved what they did. It's just a WoW clone, but with the Warhammer feel. And they're actually developing, fan developing new content for it. So I hope nothing gets in the way. I hope, if EA they can't have the rights to that anymore, but I hope nobody like Games Workshop or anything calls this off, because it's wonderful. It's so clumsy and crappy, and you can see real grindy, and you're just running for hours or riding your stolen pack mule. I don't know why they didn't give. I'm like a goblin caster, like a goblin, like a grot sorcerer, and I don't know why they didn't give us spiders to ride. Like, it doesn't make any sense that the goblins aren't on spiders, but maybe that was too much animation. So we're just on like stolen pack mules, which look terrible. But yeah, it's fun as hell. Yeah, I just like the music is good. They didn't do so. Skaven aren't a playable race, and the new expansion that they're working on now is Tomb Kings. So I don't know if they're going to give you playable Tomb Kings, but they're giving you all of the area of the map that they developed for the Tomb Kings. So I can't wait to get high enough level to see that. But yeah, it was just, and WoW hasn't really, it didn't hit me that same way. I played a lot of World of Warcraft with my daughter. That was like a good way for us to keep in touch. And so I had some nostalgia for it, but that wasn't like more her thing. And so I played a bunch of Warhammer Online, and but it died so quickly that I couldn't get very, I didn't get very far. And it's great. It was really great to see that back again. I hope that keeps happening. I hope that they can keep at it, because it was just an abandoned game, and it's a shame there was so much work done for that. And it feels, like those games of that time, that early 2000s. Actually, it's probably later than that. Yeah, the original, I think, was called Age of Reckoning. Now it's Return to Reckoning. Yeah, so it was released, boom, boom, 2008, yeah. Mythic did that with EA. Yeah, that's the thing that's frustrating. I guess they do have a limited free version now. Like you can play the first 10 levels for free now. But yeah, it's certain MMOs, and especially back in like the 2000s, some MMOs like took a college course to even have a clue of what was going on. Like some of them had systems and stuff that were so complicated that you needed a real walkthrough. Because I remember the one that hit me the hardest, like, geez, I have no idea what I'm doing, is Star Wars Galaxies. That first MMO they did for Star Wars, it was so complicated. Like the skills that you had to learn were so complicated, and basically you had to run into friendly players that would just like, Neo from the Matrix you, and just like give you like language skills and all this stuff. Like you needed so much stuff to just be functional. And the game did a terrible, I mean, people liked that like ridiculous complexity of it, but there was so much stuff like just at a basic level, kind of like on like EVE Online level of training skills and stuff that you needed to do to be able to function and to talk to NPCs and stuff. And I had no idea what I was doing, but ran into a couple of kind NPCs that were just like dumping all these things on me to make it easier to start out. And but it took a long time to have any idea what to do. But they really, with that game, if they could have kept that going, they really did an interesting job of building jobs and classes to work. Like you could be an entertainer, and basically that just like find a place that you were going to be a dancer or whatever the job was, and like actually have like participate in the economy and do all this stuff, and not be running around fighting or doing anything. You're just like hanging out at some cantina dancing for tips. It's really and that was like viable in the MMO. All I remember from that game is like being too weak and like just being murdered by butterflies constantly. Like I was playing a Wookiee and I was just constantly killed by butterflies. Like this sucks. I have no idea what I'm doing. And it was just in that time when I was just trying everything that came out. Hey K5, how you doing? So welcome to the second stream of the day. I tried to get back. Yeah, Unknown Girl. Yeah, you're right. WoW was like pay forever. They only when their numbers started to go very far down, they started that like you could play the first couple of levels for free, but they restrict everything so much you're not really getting the real experience because like you can't do any auction stuff. You have a really restricted inventory. Like there's so much stuff that you can't do that you don't really know how a lot of the systems work in the game if you don't pay. So the free one, yeah, is just kind of useless. It's a like a demo, and you want to spend time in demo. Yeah. Galaxies was super grindy, and just like a little crazy. And so much of that stuff was like that's just what people expected. So they just made you, walk everywhere until you got any sort of into the fast travel systems or whatever. Yeah, my brother was at LucasArts when that was out, so he got me like a cool like collectors. They had like copies of it around, so he got me a cool collector's version of that, but he couldn't do any free, like they needed every sub, so that they didn't do any free subs or anything. So yeah, for a while I had a ridiculous MMO bill in the early 2000s. I had a brutal MMO monthly bill. Yeah, because like so the main stuff, like my daughter and I, the main stuff, City of Heroes, World of Warcraft, and I was playing Final Fantasy 11, which was super expensive. Or not like they're the most expensive, but I think it was like $15. I think they were that was pretty much the standard. I can't believe, yeah, how much of that went. But there were like 4 games, and so that's like $60 a month. And I couldn't ever be on any of those games enough. And then once I started trying other stuff, because you would always get, if you bought the game, you get a month free, and sometimes more. But yeah, it always ended up going beyond that once you kind of got invested in it. But there was just no way to keep up with all of that. But it was really fun. That was a fun time that probably won't be again, because I think the company's experiences with the mobile money making and stuff means that so many games have a horrible cash shop, and their economies are never going to be good because they're just going to be overrun, and all the gold farming and everything that used to happen to now it's just like completely out of control. What was the I think there was already, they were frustrating the gold farmers. The Amazon's New World was frustrating the gold farmers. They did something, I forget what they did. They did something where they fucked up their economy, and all the people that were farming gold like got totally screwed. I forget what that was, but that just happened recently. But yeah, those were the days. I think maybe someone has resurrected City of Heroes too. That was an ugly but a really fun game. It was not very good looking, but I guess none of them were at that time. But yeah, so Return to Reckoning, if you want to play Warhammer Online again. The classes and stuff are weird. They're just kind of ripping off. It's such a WoW clone that some of it feels a little less, which is pretty funny. Some of it feels a little less Warhammer, but basically Warcraft is Warhammer, just with the serial numbers filed off. But the game, the music, and just the ugly, and it doesn't actually look that bad on a modern PC. I didn't really feel like the textures and everything look pretty decent. The geometry on the models and stuff is not bad at all. I didn't really feel like, wow, this is, because that's 2018, so it's 14 years old. That's crazy. It doesn't look disgusting at all on a modern computer, which you probably can't say that for a lot of, and I think that's what I noticed too at that time. It was a good looking for its time too. It was good looking because that was before WoW did their kind of remodel where they put more polygons and stuff on their models. Yeah, Disney Warhammer. Yeah, that's so crazy. And they're still nobody has. I've like heard different stories, but nobody's like really come clean with, Blizzard's relationship with Games Workshop, because they're constantly ripping off their IPs, and a lot of the designers were fans. Like they talk about the Blizzard employees playing Necromunda, and so they were playing all of those games. They were fans of all that stuff and ripping it off. And back in the day, they talked about Blizzard was supposed to, or one of the studios that Blizzard was managing or whatever, had the license to do a Warcraft game, and it fell apart. But then they had all these generic, what they could make generic fantasy assets, and that's what became the first Warcraft RTS. But I don't know how. Nobody will admit that that's the truth. That's just kind of the internet rumor. Then a lot of people just a coincidence, or just, the similarities are just very organic. I guess they can't officially, Blizzard can't say anything, because then Games Workshop could go after them legally for that if they admitted to, yeah, of course, we just took everything that we made under contract, under license, and made our own game from it. But they say that about He-Man too. He-Man was a license. Was it Mattel? A license for Conan, and that fell through. They couldn't get approval or something. Whoa. Something happened with the license, and so they're like, let's just make him blonde and do our own fantasy thing. And it was definitely different enough. Like, no one's going to confuse the world of Robert E. Howard with He-Man and Eternia, He-Man's Eternia. But I think that was like an attempted toy line. That's why some of the early art is so amazing. Yeah, you're right, Unknown Girl. Sometimes looking back, like I was so shocked. Grand Theft Auto 4, the LA one, or the fakey LA one, looks terrible. And I remember that, like, looking or being, and maybe it just because of the color palette changing and everything, it wasn't like a dark, grimy city. I remember that looking better, but it's not any better than 3. So when they show like the when people do old retrospectives of that and show the old game, like, oh, this looks terrible. But I remember it had like so many complex systems in it. You could overeat and get fat, or you could train and get buff, like your character could. And I remember that, oh, this is so complicated, and so many new things going on, and who can even tell? It looks terrible. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh yeah, right. That would be hysterical. I keep waiting for those things, like when they were talking about they're still talking about Wizards of the Coast going somewhere, like somebody buying Wizards of the Coast. And was it Microsoft? No, I forget. The two most recent, the CEO of Hasbro now, and now the new CEO of Wizards, are both former, maybe Microsoft employees. So they're saying, yeah, Microsoft could end up buying Wizards, as a rumor. But there's been talk that all the sanitizing they're doing in the books and stuff is kind of preparation to kind of package stuff up. But it's making enough money that nobody is, nobody's sure about that. But that'd be so funny if World of Warcraft and Warcraft end up at the same place. It's like one of you is redundant. And that's the worst part of all of this media conglomeration stuff and all this consolidation of media companies, is it is going to mean that you can't have both anymore. Why would a company keep these two identical properties when they're not competing anymore? So like either Warcraft or Warhammer Fantasy people are going to have to just say goodbye to PC games or whatever. Yeah, seeing their properties in some media. That would be the worst outcome of some of this. I'm trying to think though. There isn't that much redundancy, but Warcraft and Warhammer would definitely be one. That'd be so funny. I'm getting so disgusted. I mean, it's impossible. I had a lot of hope and was trying with 8th edition to really, enjoy 40K, and there's a big enough 40K community here. There's people to play with, but the rules are such a nightmare. They're such a mess, and you got to buy so much to keep up with how they're screwing up the rules. Like, they're basically being incompetent, but their incompetent creates profit because they, release so many so many rules changes and rebalances. I mean, some of it's free PDFs, but a lot of it is $50, $70 in Japan books you have to buy. Yeah, I just need to find that one really wealthy Warhammer fan friend, which there's not a lot of wealthy expats, or at least expats that don't have kids and stuff that feel insanely guilty about playing 40K. But I was all in with the big rules revision and stuff for 8th edition, and then they fucked that up too. So they did a whole, another version a little too quickly. Yeah, so I would still play 8th in whatever state you could find it, but they're rapidly just deleting that stuff. I heard that the shops, like, literally, when the new version comes out and there really isn't any compatibility, anything with rules that would connect to the old version, they just burn. They just, dispose of everything. I'd like to crawl that dumpster. That would be amazing. But they started doing that, I think, with 7th, where they switched over. And it's just like, yeah, get rid of all the old rules. And then they're doing that thing with the Warhammer library thing, their digital library that is part of the Warhammer Plus. They release old books and old White Dwarf magazines and stuff, the magazine that supported the game systems, and they delete all of the rules out of them for previous systems, so you can't use them to play previous versions of the rules. The only rules they're going to provide you with are the latest version, and that sucks. I'm just so glad there's, like, PDFs floating around out there, and you can, for ridiculous prices, because people hoard that stuff, you can buy the old books. And I've noticed the price of those going up like crazy. Yeah, that's true, because of the D&D movies coming out. There's a D&D TV series. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it doesn't, even though they keep saying that, but it's surprising, though, the companies that are getting bought up during this Microsoft Sony gobble fest. You don't have to want to be sold either for people to find some value in you and want to make you part of their metaverse strategy. Yeah, I don't know. And then there's all that stuff that Chris and I talked about on the weekly, all that weird holding company, the Embracer Group, and all that BlackRock type passive investment stuff where you're just like, what is this? So maybe it's that trend that may have started with how Chinese companies started to invest in the West. Like Tencent has like a piece of everybody. Like there's not a single game company in the US or Europe that Tencent doesn't have a piece of. So that may have, just like the disposable, the bad lessons of disposable consumer goods that we learned from China. Maybe the West learned that the business model of just getting, managing assets instead of actually having much control over everything. Gobblefest. Hey, Ravi. Thanks for watching. Yeah, it's the Sony Microsoft Gobblefest. It's so bizarre how that stuff shakes out too. Because why is Bungie a Sony, owned by Sony now? Yeah, that's ridiculous. And it sucks too because maybe it's more of an EA thing, but the big companies, they kill those smaller studios too when they can't get them to when the name doesn't mean enough anymore, or at least to them, and can't get them to produce or don't have any projects for them. They just kill them and just move their employees to another to the in-house studio or whatever. I don't know what I'm doing with this one. Maybe just, yeah, a bunch of torn open packages. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what the I wonder if it's just like, you know, some of these companies have been weakened enough by the pandemic, or if it's just that there's timing for, you know, ramping up to something that suddenly people are getting so hungry. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird though when people are talking about Sony and Microsoft. I guess because it's the domestic it's just that, you know, a lot of Americans, you know, rah Microsoft. But I mean, they have, of course, Windows, but Sony is everything. I mean, this isn't going to mean much. Oh, how come they don't? Oh, that's weird. Oh, it's, I guess I guess, and it's a lot of different companies. I'm getting the yen. That's insane. I'm getting the yen value. No, no, oh, no. I guess, yeah. No, Microsoft like dwarfs. I mean, if this is just the stock value, the market cap, yeah. So Microsoft is 2.2 trillion, and I don't know if this is what this is though. If this is all of a sudden, yeah. And Sony's only 137 billion. So dwarfs, wow, $2 trillion. What the? Oof, that's brutal. But of course, that's, you know, we're talking PlayStation versus Xbox. It's not the entire companies. But oof, that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't know when people were talking like that. I was like, is that just a talking about Microsoft being so dominant? I'm like, are they really that big? I guess it was that Minecraft purchase that put them over the top. Oh, really? Oh, interesting. Oh, I want to take a look at that. Yeah, I love the creepy Chinese influence over Hollywood. When you can see it, it's just disturbing. Oh, Moonfall. Yeah, I'll have to take a look. Yeah, it's so hard to tell anymore what's going on. Yeah, a lot of really bizarre influences. Oh, actually, I don't need to draw that. I can color that on later. I don't know where this is going, and these are not in the same perspective. Let me see if I can fix that. Maybe not. But yeah, so sorry, I didn't mean to go off on this MMO. But yeah, that was just so maybe on the other channel though, maybe on Upturned Table, I'll try to do some Return to Reckoning streaming if that's allowed. Ugh, I don't know. I'll take a look and see if other people are doing it. But because it's not an official release, maybe it's not going to be streaming friendly. But it's just, that would be a fun thing to just sit and bullshit, you know, just interact and talk to the chat while I was playing, because it's MMOs like don't require you to be paying that much attention. Yeah, and it's been a while since I've dedicated any time, and I just can't really do it anymore. There's too much going on, because it's such a time suck, and I can't stay up constantly stay up as late as an MMO requires, especially in the wrong time zone. But yeah, that was a nice nostalgia blast there. Yeah, I played that. I was already in Japan by the time that came out, so I was playing it from Japan. So that was another thing too. It was hard to connect with players with the time difference. Yeah, this I don't know. Mm. Mm-hmm. There was damaged merchandise in this week's shipment. Micro harvested air. Oh man. uh yeah, I can't I can't imagine. And yeah, back a little bit to the on the previous part of the stream, the US deploying troops to deal with whatever is going on in the Ukraine. I mean, that's just going to give China some more reasons to ramp up. I mean, I don't want America to be involved in any other part of the world except Asia because, yeah, I'm just on this island of on an island that the rest of Asia hates so much they look for any excuse to cause trouble. Oh man. Yeah, I'm really gonna. I know it sounds bizarre, but the end of the pandemic is going to mean the return to insane tourism in Japan. I'm not looking forward to that at all. That's very selfish, but oh, cool. Thanks for checking, Unknown Girl. Very cool. Yeah, I think basically only Final Fantasy 11 and 14 and Lineage. Like the Lineage was super popular, 1 and 2. And they have like so a lot of Japanese families have a single computer. Kids don't have their own computer. It's different now, or it's different maybe 10 years ago that started to change. But for a while, it was only the family computer. And so you couldn't sit on it and play games all the time because people needed to, print stuff or do whatever, do family stuff on it. So they did have internet cafes here, like the kind of the Korean PC Bang kind of style PC cafes, and they would always have big posters for. So I think Lineage and Final Fantasy were both really huge in Japan. But it's not. There's still so many console gamers, and it's different because Korea is only PC, and nobody has their own computer, and there's so much incentive. Like the PC cafes give you so much incentive to play there because it's the latest hardware. It's like better than you would have at home, so you can play a better PC. But they were pretty popular, but very specific titles. Like I don't think World of Warcraft was ever super popular in Japan. And I'm not sure. I can't remember the domestic titles. There are a couple of other domestic titles that I don't think they ever localized outside of Japan, like Final Fantasy. And I can't think of any of them right now. But there were some games that you'd see posters, like you're walking around in the Nipponbashi or the kind of geeky areas. You'd see the big posters at the internet cafes of whatever game they were trying to push. But very quickly though, the like the Final Fantasy 14 benchmark app is still. I think it may be now they may have updated it for. It's still you still find 14 in the PC shops. They'll just be running the benchmark for Final Fantasy 14 a lot. I have seen the 15 for PC when that came out for PC. I think that's starting to show up now too. But for years, that was the thing that was running, and it's pre-installed. When I bought a Japanese PC, that was pre-installed on the machine, so I could look at the gorgeous rendering of that MMO. But so I think that meant that a lot of people also, you know, if they're buying a PC, they're buying to play. But yeah, having a PC at home, like especially as a kid in your bedroom or whatever, yeah, that can get crazy unhealthy fast because you have a lot of reasons to then not do anything else. But yeah, yeah, MMOs I think were different, and there are there are a lot of a decent population of people that are too online, and kind of the neat, the neat problem in Japan as well. The kind of parasite kids that are in their 30s and still living at home and don't do anything for the family. Just have their, I need to, be online or whatever. And they just never leave their rooms. Not for mental illness reasons, although it's all in the ballpark. But yeah, that's a thing here, which may not be the same, because maybe in Korea, if you're in your room all the time, you don't have a nice computer, and you don't have a lot of other things. In some cases, yeah, it's crazy. Oh, sorry. Let me shift down. Ashran's Call. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. And what was the there was one really brutal, was it Ashran's Call? What was the one that was yeah, I tried everything, like when in that kind of early 2000s, the aughts, I played everything that came out MMO wise, just like the first free month of everything. So like Tabula Rasa, and there was a ton of games that were really interesting, and had some nice, they're trying new things, and everybody was trying to do the WoW, competitor, was trying to build a competitor for World of Warcraft, because they were making billions in just subscriptions. But what was the was it Ashran's Call? There was a real deadly one that was was very nerve-wracking to play, because it was one of those games that was PvP was on all the time, so there would be characters that would just camp the newbie area and just murder your characters right away, and a lot of shenanigans went on, as far as there was no recourse. Like if you gave somebody something, or if they killed you, they would take everything. I guess that seemed, oh my god, back then, but now compared to Rust and all of the online survival games, that's pretty standard. Is just getting ganked immediately ganked out of a game. But when you're making a character and thinking about it more as participating in a role playing thing, to just have characters wiped out like that is pretty shocking. I guess though we're used to that now. But I just remember Dark Tide. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, it's funny. That's a really funny oh, EverQuest, that's right. Yeah, the we were talking about that a little earlier, Robbie, the Star Wars Galaxies. Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't a particularly pretty one, and Matt said, is super grindy, but it was Star Wars. That was the crazy thing. It's this is an official Star Wars, and they did a good job of making it insanely complicated. They would never do that again. The Knights of the old, or it's not night, it's just Old Republic. Yeah, the Old Republic MMO now is just very WoW clone-y. It's just the tab tab to target, function key, or number key, or through your attack cycle. Yeah, but that's the thing. Still, I'm amazed how good the story is, the storytelling for each of the character classes, and it's voiced. That's the thing that blew me away. I wish the gameplay was better, because they went to all that effort of voicing every path for every storyline for the different character classes for the Old Republic. That's still so amazing to me, and you still can, those videos are still pretty watchable online. Like, people will just do the path of a particular class, and those are still, pretty watchable. Yeah, I think you're right. No, EverQuest did. Yeah, I definitely remember that artwork. That's very true. Let's see if I can pull any of that up. This is a very Googling podcast. Yeah, it is. His work fits that very much. Yeah, I'm still I mean, this dates me very much, but what is it? Earl Otis's artwork. Like, that's, for me, that's D&D for me very much. I can't. When with Swords and Wizardry, Swords and Wizardry did add an Earl Otis cover, and it's like, yeah, okay, I'll play that. That's OSR for me. Yeah, because I was already, by the time second edition was out and you were like seeing the bookstores full of D&D stuff, I already did not have anybody to play with, I think, by that time. Yeah, because later high school, that was really weird, because I had a bunch of nerd friends up until like the first year of high school. Then I moved, and like, I don't know, just my whole social thing blew up, and I just went after the cool kids, and the cool kids didn't want to play any tabletop stuff, and they were all older than I was, so they all graduated. But yeah, there was nobody. I'm sure some people at the high school that I was at played something, but yeah, that just went away for a long time. And I was even, it didn't quite happen yet. Maybe early 90s would have been better, but I was in Sweden in the late 80s, so that would have been a really cool time. Mutant and everything. It was just like right there, almost about to happen. But it was all the my peer group was not a tabletop group in high school at all. That's funny. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's like super nostalgic. The Earl Otis stuff is super nostalgic. Yeah, it's so funny. Online you can see, like, people own the original paintings, and seeing those in frames and stuff is hysterical. It's like, god damn. Yeah, I like his and for me that's like that's more like Jack Vance, style. Like, when I like reading Dying Earth, that's all I could picture is like Earl Otis style fantasy. So very, that style, that kind of, because it works like kind of psychedelic and kind of it works really well for that. All right. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Well, that's cool. I'm glad people are streaming Return to Reckoning. I gotta get on that. Could I do more shit that like is Games Workshop properties that doesn't do anything for Games Workshop? Like, we were playing War Master with 3D printed armies, and geez, it's not a political protest. It's just what we ended up doing. Maybe for Chris it's political. But for me, it just happens to, the old stuff is just so fun. I can't believe, I like when Games Workshop doesn't have enough time to fuck up their rules and fuck up their games by adding a bunch of shit in there. I'm even feeling that with Aeronautica Imperialis. Like, now they're getting all the models out in plastic for that game, but I think they're going to fuck up the rules like they always do, because they just want you to buy everything. Like, the rules are just built to kind of force you to buy stuff. And that's what Necromunda is feeling like too. They're like pushing you towards all the Forge World, like ridiculously priced Forge World stuff for Necromunda, all the extra bounty hunters or hired mercenary characters. And that's all in the rules. So it's just, yeah, the rules just become this like part of their marketing approach. And I think that's why they had that attitude when people were criticizing them a few years back. The attitude like, we're just a miniatures company, so we're not really a game company. We don't make rules. We just make miniatures. It's like you just make rules to sell miniatures. Yeah, that's the thing with even the Middle Earth fantasy battles game, the Lord of the Rings game that they did. They fucked up those rules too, just to get you to buy stuff. And I love when the rules are so fucked up, and they want you to buy, ridiculously priced miniatures. And in the most case, these are like metal or resin miniatures, and most of them don't even exist anymore. Like you have to buy them aftermarket. So the real horrible part of that approach is you kind of put an expiration date on your game, because unless you're going to keep those models like permanently available, using your rules to advertise or to market your miniatures means that you're advertising dead lines of miniatures. That's so stupid. I just can't believe that they can't like coordinate better to actually make it work. I mean, they've got the technology for making great miniatures, and they don't always even do that. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've only ever played the Lord of the Rings, the Fantasy Flight, Lord of the Rings, and just once with a kind of cooperative one, or you can play it cooperatively. That's my only experience. But yeah, I love Lord of the Rings stuff after the One Ring came out, and yeah, there's some good stuff. I was really hoping that miniatures game would be playable, at least even just like the starter set or whatever. So we'll see. I mean, people are playing it online. I see a lot of battle reports on a few channels, but it doesn't, just like everything else Games Workshop, though, it's way too expensive to get into casually. Oh, I don't know what's going on here. Should there be something causing this, or oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah, Fantasy Flight is especially terrible at that. They don't create like complete games. If they do like their living card games or whatever, they just make a game and keep adding rules and mechanics until it doesn't get popular. Then they just stop. So you can't, you don't have a complete set of anything. So it's very strange. I guess if you just played with the core set of some of the games, you kind of have a complete game, but it's very, stripped down. Like they add so much in later releases. But that was really, disgusting, because I when they were clearing out Conquest, not Conquest, that's the 40K one. What's the not 40K? Though, this is so sad. The wherever fantasy card game, Fantasy Flight, I forget what it's called, but where you have the different races, not Warhammer Quest, but they did that as well, didn't they? Yeah, what they got rid of, because they lost the license. So fantasy card, Invasion, sorry. Yeah, the Invasion was the living card game. Yeah, so I have every card for Invasion, and was hoping, because they were getting rid of like the decks and expansion boxes, like $1 or $2. So I got everything, and it's not a complete game. Like there are some factions that are just unplayable. They just like left it in this state because it was like dying, and they're just like, okay, finish it up, whatever. So they don't even give like certain races like Skaven, and the last two that they released don't even have like full dashboards for their fortress or their home base. So yeah, it was really, really bad. Like the business model just is not good. Oh, Sunday. Oh, the Lord of the Rings Amazon series trailer. Oh man. I don't know about that. I don't know. They're going to be adding all kinds of everyone's going to have like a cousin. Oh yeah, you forgot you never met my my stepbrother, my third cousin. There's going to be so much stuff thrown into thrown into Lord of the Rings because it wasn't mentioned, so we can make it up. We just can't screw with the stuff that Tolkien actually wrote down. But anything else we can add. Yeah, so yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I hope it's just watchable. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but the Wheel of Time was, it was watchable. It was like a version of that. I don't think it was a great version of it, but it was a version of that story. It's just sad that, that's more accessible to people. And that's the thing that we got to keep remembering. It's like, something you can binge on streaming is always going to be more accessible to people than a book. Like a book is always the last way someone's going to interact with a property. So that's going to be their version of things. And that, sometimes that can really suck. All right, what are we doing here? Oh yeah. I was I saw the little preview thing for that. I couldn't understand the tone of. Is it like is the woman in the house across the street from the girl in the window? Is it like a dark comedy or is it like a kind of murder mystery? I couldn't understand the tone from just the. I mean, I just watched the trailer, but yeah, that seemed. I didn't know what they were trying to do. I guess watching the show would tell me that. But yeah, I'm curious. Anything that Netflix tries is interesting. Like they're doing a lot of like weird experimenting, and a lot of is Fargon the Ranger, Nilvo Nuggets the Hobbit. Exactly. Yeah, it'll be all of these like just like weird modified. Yeah, the Hobbits are gonna get crazy. That's the funny thing. About like what they did for like kind of racial casting in Wheel of Time is they had this like remote village, and they did some good things with races. They actually like made the race of the main character mean that he was from a different land, like it, so that actually made sense. But for the most part, like you can't have this like remote fantasy village of this very multicultural group of people, because that would mean that nobody intermarried and everybody just married their brothers and sisters and first cousins, and so you'd have this like kind of ethnic or racial diversity, but everybody would be so inbred. It just like makes it more racist to actually have a group of people that is very multicultural, because it just shows that they don't intermarry, that they actually don't want to actually deal with each other. They only deal with their own kind in like a village of 500 people. But someday we're going to look back at this like silly casting and just like, that's not what sci-fi looks like. That's not what fantasy looks like. Let's just it's gonna look very much of the time. But I thought that when that occurred to me, I thought that was so funny. It's like, yeah, this small village where nobody intermarries. Nice. Oh, more murder mystery. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I can't believe how much money Netflix still has, and they're like not meeting any of their subscription goals or anything. All right, so I want to do a bunch of torn boxes. Maybe I should just do a bunch of falling torn boxes. Would that be better? Oh, they're actually gonna. Yeah, I don't know if having them lined up. I don't know what the gag is. I like this visually, but I don't know what I'm going for here. Something like that. Yeah, something having torn up boxes, or maybe. Yeah, it could just be cereal boxes and like cracker boxes and stuff, and just have the. Yeah, I don't know. I like that. Oh, I saw that. That's the best thing about deflation or kind of economic stagnation in Japan is they can't raise the price of anything. So we have the cheapest Netflix, the cheapest Amazon Prime, like all the subscription services, they have to come in with an initial number that'll get people to subscribe, and they can't ever raise it because nobody gets raises in their salary. Nobody gets even cost of living adjustments in their salary. In fact, most people just get salary reduction or no bonuses or yeah. So it is really hit or miss. I'm like not with Netflix like original stuff, but I'll try anything. Oh yeah, I saw that. I watched the beginning of that and wanted to go a little bit more into yeah, Archive 81. That looked interesting. The one with the videotape, the the guy that yeah, I only got to the part where the kind of the mystery is revealed, and he works as like a tape archive thing, and he's kind of a VHS nerd and collects old tapes and stuff. And there's some yeah tape he needs recovered of, and it's like yeah. So I won't spoil anything, but yeah, watch the beginning of that episode. I want to get into that more. Uh, yeah, I gotta watch that. But that's the only benefit of Japan. Like you'll never get a raise, but things will never get more expensive. Even like Starbucks could only raise they already had super overpriced coffee here because when they priced things when they first landed basically. But the only time they've ever been able to raise the price of anything is when they had the tax increase. So they raise the prices of everything, and standard in Japan is to show the price of something tax included. But Starbucks did this trick where they raised the prices so it looks like a tax included price, but then they put this notice that said, "Oh, the tax isn't included. It will actually, we'll actually add the tax later," because there was, because Japan had 5% consumption tax forever, and they wanted to go up to 10, but they did this half step to 8. So they went to 8 and 10, and no businesses knew when the government was going to approve that. So maybe to save printing costs and everything, they just did without tax prices. But Starbucks was a little tricky when they did those new without tax prices. They were basically the old prices with tax, so everything got a little like almost 8% bump in their price, and that's the only time they've ever raised the prices here. It's crazy. Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to check out the that Archive 81. I'll have to finish more of that. Yeah, I was getting into it. I like the tone of it and everything, and I was happy to see Martin Donovan, the guy that was yeah kind of trying to recruit the kid. He's one of my favorite actors from the old Hal Hartley movies. All right, boxes. What's happening with these boxes? All right. Put like a tire mark or something. I don't know. Something like just odd. Oh, yeah. What would destroy so many boxes besides the postal service? What would destroy so many boxes like that? Mm. Ah. Hmm. Hey, 99 months. It's been years. Yeah, sorry. This is my so for the live stream, so that I actually do some drawing, I just try to come up with some warm up shape, and usually it's just boxes, and then sometimes that leads to a an idea for a cartoon because a lot of the images are like cereal boxes or you know packages in the mail or whatever. A lot of the cartoons have been those sort of inanimate objects, so it's inanimate objects, and so I just kind of repeat the same thing. And for a lot of the time, it was my tablet and earlier versions of Windows were fighting a lot. So every time I would go to do the live stream or do some drawing, the tablet was like weirdly unresponsive, or the pressure sensitivity would be wrong, or because they had this Microsoft had this ink space app that they were trying to have override a lot of what Wacom was doing. So for the tablet, so I had to kind of warm up to get my touch back, because sometimes it was different. Like sometimes when I would go to draw, there had been something that had changed, or if I restarted the computer, or there was an update. And so I just spent the beginning of the streams just drawing the same thing over and over again to get a touch. It looks, it starts to look a little crazy. The crazy person is drawing the same things over and over again. But yeah, boxes are just the easiest warm up. And if I'm talking and drawing, I'm not super focused on drawing, but it gets my hand active, and I can start to actually make something instead of only talking. Yeah, that was really hard when I first started doing this. It was basically like, patting your head and rubbing your stomach kind of thing. I couldn't do both at the same time, so I would stop and talk and then draw silently and then stop and talk. It was really hard to be able to do two things at the same time. Yeah, sometimes I draw cylinders. But yeah, the warm up always just tends towards boxes because it's the first thing that I think about, or the first thing that kind of like that's the balance. Like milk cartons and everything are just going to be boxes. Okay, so I want to do something again with a better idea. Or maybe just charred. Maybe just having all of these charred would be good. I don't want to make it look like a house fire or anything too dark and depressing. But the more coffee I have, the more I'll rattle on about nothing. All right. Yeah, so it seems like things are still, pandemic-wise, things are still kind of on the rise here. And it feels like just everyone's just going to have to get it, and the restrictions and stuff that they're doing, they really aren't doing anything very strong anymore. So they're just letting people run into it whenever they can. I don't know what, but I did see, like, they did a comparison over the whole 2 years of this, and Japan's fatalities from the pandemic were the lowest of any country, which is really surprising because we have the oldest population. Asian countries have the oldest populations of, even compared to Europe or anything. So that's pretty amazing that they were able to protect the seniors, especially people in like hospice or managed care kind of houses and things. And so many of the older people live at home, and so maybe people were just being very responsible and very, worried about their older relatives. So that was pretty surprising. And also, I've heard from some of like the professor at the university and stuff. There's a little bit of talk, a little bit of racist talk going around that Asian people are a little bit better at handling this than you foreigners. So yeah, there's a little bit of a talk about how yeah, this infection isn't so hard on Asian people, but I don't know what that's based on besides racial pride. I don't know. But I always got to glance and make sure I'm still even online. So I have heard that. I'm not sure what that's based on, but yeah, we'll see. So opening boxes, some ridiculous method of opening a bunch of boxes. Or something that would shred cardboard. Yeah, this is, I'm working backwards, I think, from what I should be doing. All right. Oh, that's right. The 2 bag and then the bunch of boxes. Yeah, or just something. Maybe I'll just do the Postal Service sucks kind of cartoons again. Come on. Give me my black pen. There we go. So just do some little packing. Actually, you don't really see the peanuts anymore, do you? They're mostly the these kind of guys. Those little things you can dissolve in water. The peanuts are those little cylinders that you can melt and put down the drain. We'll mix them up. I like the old school ones better. All right. So just none of them were getting delivered. Yeah, I think that'll work instead of something too dramatic. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Japanese people are very susceptible to hypertension and diabetes and stuff from like minor weight gain, so they're much more careful, and diet and everything is it's easier to have a healthier diet, a heart healthier diet here. Thank God for me. Yeah, no, I think there's a lack of comorbidities in Japan, so that helps a bit. And people are very, even during things, people are still outside and active. Even when they were locked in the house, still, if we go to the parks and stuff, there's still people out walking around in the sunshine and stuff. So yeah, people were careful outside, but they still went outside during like full lockdown, because I took my daughter to the park and we played catch a bunch, and there were still people there, trying to not go crazy in the house. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any experience of Korea or Southeast Asia or China, but yeah, Japan's pretty sporty and active. It reminds me more of Sweden. How sporty people are here and want to be active. Want to do active outdoor things. All right, so let's color some of this. So that's a hard thing to take away. They won't. Whoops. Yeah, they won't handle that being taken away very easily. All right. That works. And I'll do kind of that green, that weird light green color for these things. And it's even lighter than that, but I think that'll get it across. But yeah, we're still, I still can't believe there's any businesses left after all this time. Amazing. I'm just suspicious some of the newer shops that have opened. Me suspicious. I'm just a little bit worried. Some of the older shops that open. So a practice that you have for a new business is people send you flowers when you open a new business, and they traditionally send you these a very expensive flower. They're like $500, and I'll show you one. What are they? Jeez. So traditionally, they send a bunch of flowers, but the most standard flower for the new opening business is these really expensive. What are they? I don't know my flowers at all. Well, I'll just show you a picture and then you can tell me. But sometimes they're like almost like funerary, or like these big bursts of big sprays of arrangement. But the most common is there's only like one picture of these. Oh, here we go. All right. So the most common is this type of flower. Just paste things into my cartoons. So you'll see these all over, and then you can see there's little plaques that show you who it came from. So like minimum, these are like $500. Just these little arrangements of, what are these? They're those expensive flowers. Oh, such orchids. Jesus. Orchids. Okay. Yeah. So this style of orchid is very common. Thank you, Matt. Is very common for businesses. And so, long story, just to say that a lot of businesses that I've seen opening recently around my office that have been new from businesses that closed during the lockdowns have either in English, like Roman characters, or all katakana have Chinese companies and Chinese people thanking them, or not thanking them, but congratulating them on opening orchids. So so if you want some beautiful orchids in your home, you just have to walk by a new business and run away with that's a huge amount of money. You could literally like steal thousands of dollars in flowers with like 2 armloads of flowers. But this is very common. You'll see these a lot outside of businesses, and they're very, very expensive. But it's a show of support for a new business opening. So I've seen a lot of which I haven't ever seen before. A lot of Chinese names and businesses in Chinese, but written out in Roman characters for some reason. I don't know what that means, but because there's a lot of Chinese that Chinese companies would use that Japanese people can't really read, or there's no Japanese for it, so they don't really know how they would pronounce it or anything. Maybe that's the reason for it. But yeah, you see these a lot, and I'm just suspicious there's a lot of Chinese money creeping into like the restaurant business and stuff here. Me suspicious, but so we'll see how this shakes out. Nice contrast. I guess I shouldn't make these boxes all the same all the same color. They wouldn't be. Hmm. Yeah, I'll vary this up a little bit here. All right. Something more gray. Ah. Nice. Yeah, right. Great advice. You could start a whole. Yeah, they don't last all that long though because the shops are only. Maybe they leave them outside a lot. So maybe in summer weather or whatever. Like there's some season that just like shortens their their lifespan, uh, really badly. So they're dying pretty fast. But I've seen people like bring them in at night. There we go, something like that. I've seen shops, yeah. They bring them inside at night, like the signs, like all the other signs and decorations and stuff. But yeah, and maybe that's just an Asian thing. I haven't seen how that works in other countries. I'm sure it's not only Japanese, but yeah, but Japan is very like business relationships involve a lot of gifts, a lot of gift giving, and a lot of just an exchange of pleasantries through some sort of so like if you have a company that manages a lot of like family finances, you have a busy season where you're just sending a bunch of gifts out and they're returning a bunch and they're sending a bunch of gifts to you. So it's usually variety packs of like coffee or beer or like I think we've gotten cooking oil or juice and like canned juice and stuff. There's a lot of like really weird random stuff that goes on in those exchanges because I think there are companies that are just basically gift catalogs for business interactions. Oops. So they, of course. So you just basically order from a catalog to make it easier. Once upon a time, it was more done by hand, but I think companies have stepped in to make the process more painless. But yeah, that was the thing that why Japan loves Tom Cruise so much is they're impressed. I think it's just because he has a good Japanese handler when he's doing stuff in Japan. But any press tours or whatever, he always very perfectly conforms to the kind of the gift culture and things here. So always his translators. And everybody is so impressed with, how perfect his etiquette is. But I think it's just because he hooked up with a good handler in Japan that does all that for him. But I've heard that multiple times. It's like, oh yeah, and he's so good. Maybe the press or like daytime talk shows or something have gone on about that. But that's so funny. He understands Japanese culture so well. There's some bands and some actors that can do no wrong in Japan. It's so funny. Just because they've gotten a good reputation. All right. And Tom Cruise doesn't need his Apple box for photos in Japan. So maybe that's why he's so good at it. All right, let's finish this. Yeah, I think this will work. I'm sure they get tired of seeing these when they're reading through my back catalog of cartoons. The post office sucks. Yeah, I'm still waiting on a book I ordered in December. Yeah, I just can't believe it's gotten worse. I can't imagine it being worse than it was. It's already so much. Well, I got cut off in the middle of my story, but the postal service in the U.S. is the reason that I didn't go to NYU. But Yeah, that's amazing. And just making all of the people that are still working for the Postal Service that much more miserable because they're cutting down the number of distribution centers or whatever hubs. So everything's taking longer and longer and longer, and you're still paying more and more for postage. Crazy. Yes. Well, I think especially that because he made Last Samurai, because that's fine. He's a good guy, so he can be the Last Samurai. Yeah. Yeah, of all the Western movies that have tried to do, things about Japanese history, whatever, it was probably the least offensive for Japanese people. That was probably like the least offensive. I think one of the worst ones. Did you ever see that Silk movie? The movie about the silk trade? That was brutally bad. I mean, there was some, it's interesting. That's an interesting topic, but that movie itself was so, what's the, exoticism. It was so like obsessed with like it just like did some really gross stuff with like the. I can't remember if he was coming from the U.S. or from England, and he was like, risking a lot to like have this silk business, and so he would make these like very dangerous trips to Japan in like the 19th century or 18th century. It must have been 19th, and but there was this whole like weird, erotic, weird storyline. Like it was just really, it was really not done well. And I think even Japanese people could see that, the weird exoticism thing that was going on. There could have been. I think it was based on a book too. I mean, well, that was probably the problem with it. It had to be titillating because of the because it was a book. All right, maybe some red as well. That's funny. Even with Last Samurai. All right. Okay, that looks like mail, doesn't it? Compromised, heavily compromised. They're all empty. Okay, so end of the road for these packages. That's actually, pretty depressing. I wanted it to be happy carnage, not sad. There we go. All right. And, oh, good. Just a standoff between two types of bags. Thanks. Thanks, unknown girl. I think I'll do like not that green. Kind of that weird, too dark. This green. Yeah, something that weird color. All right. Yeah, do vacuums don't even have bags anymore? Maybe some do, but it's all. Everybody's imitating that weird Dyson canister style. I don't think I've seen a bag in a vacuum for a long time. Or maybe green? No, I don't want. Yeah, I don't want both to be green. It can be blue. and some like airline logo lines on it. All right. What is it? Convenience bag? What is it? All right. Something like that. We'll put the... Oh, wait. I should put the stripes higher, because we're not going to see the... Gotta always think about those little faces, and then we'll do like a logo. They wouldn't have it on the side of the back. All right. Look at this. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they can pick up everything. Oh, yeah, that was the most disgusting part, at least in my childhood. I remembered the vacuum cleaner bag being so repulsive. Just like a big loaf of bread full of like dust and hair. There we go. Yeah, because there's literally, I remember the upright vacuum cleaners. It was just a big zipper cover, so the paper bag, like, connected into the uptake for the vacuum, and then it was just a paper bag with a cloth like zipper thing to protect it, and you just had to empty that out, so you could feel like you're vacuuming, and you could like squeeze the bag and feel how full of crud it was. Those were the days, and now you can see it. Now you can see your crud like swirling in a clear plastic canister now. But yeah, vacuums, I can't even imagine can't even compare how good vacuums are now. Thanks to Mr. Dyson. But yeah, the technology is totally improved. Oh yeah, have you ever seen or do you know wait. Sorry, my chat window is so small. I'm only seeing like 2 lines at a time. They couldn't agree on who had the worst job. Yes, excellent. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Matt is dust or other things. Yeah, it's one of those who's got the worst job. Yeah, perfect. But those old style, I've only ever seen them in like old advertisements or whatever. The houses that used to have what do they call it, like a central vacuuming system. So you'd have these holes in the wall, and you would just plug in a hose to it with a vacuum cleaner head, and so each room had like a vacuum cleaner system that was somehow running through the house. It wasn't on the Jetsons. No, this was actually like a thing. I don't know how like common it was, but I remember like a central vacuum system being a thing that you could have. I'm sure it was like insanely expensive and pretty rare, but I was just thinking that's whoops, such an insane idea. But so that you're not moving a vacuum from room to room, you are just moving a hose and a whatever you need to there we go, to vacuum everything. So much lighter work. I'm sure that's for a very expensive house that needed that just had housekeepers anyhow. If you could afford afford a central vacuuming system, I'm sure you also had maids doing the vacuuming. Housekeepers. All right. Oops. Yeah, do I have to name what these are? I probably do. Yeah, because there's going to be enough people that are like, what are these things supposed to be? Oh no. Now what just happened? There we go. Ah, yeah. Still have bag vacuum cleaners at work. Oh, wow. Made in the 50s. Wow. Yeah, that's the thing is they didn't figure out that planned obsolescence thing for a while. I think when America was like, just coming out of the Industrial Revolution, they were, or I guess like post-war, they were like, let's make this thing that lasts forever and people will pay a lot for it. But then you just basically end your market. That was that company that builds school buses that were so good, that lasted so long, that they just went out of business because nobody ever needed another school bus, because you can only sell so many school buses. And they ran forever. So it's like you never got return business. But I'm sure that's you build something too well, that can be too easily repaired. That's like the system is simple enough that it takes minor parts to keep it up and running, and you just eliminate your customer base slowly once everyone has one. And that's pretty much what the streaming, that's the streaming services subscription model is. Once everybody has it, that's it. You're done. Sickness bags. Ah, nice. Yeah, what's a yeah, airsick bags, sickness bags, emesis bag, barf bag. I've heard vomit bag. Yeah, I've seen like printed on it. It's saying something like some like convenience bag or something really, like totally trying to separate it from its use. Yeah, sickness bag. Oh, doggy bag. There you go. Motion sick bag. Yeah, I forget what the collecting. Among collectors of aeronautical memorabilia, there is a subculture of sickness bag aficionados. I guess if you fly enough, you see like a big variety of them. Nice. Oh no. They can be used as doggy bags for your airline food. First of all, why would you, like, that bag has been sitting there for a long time, so there's no way that it's necessarily very sterile or clean or anything. People have been doing whatever. Somebody probably could stick their gum or whatever in it. But why would you take airline food home with you? it's only because you're stuck in an airplane that you would even eat airline food. Why would you? Maybe first class is. Yeah, sorry, I got it. Let me switch over to the. So I apologize to anybody in Twitch. I might not see your comment right away. Oh yeah. Family and friends with. So K5. Yeah, so you did that central vacuum system. Yeah, if anything got stuck in there, it was expensive to fix. I can imagine, because it goes into the. It goes into the walls of the house. Yeah. Oh, very cool. Yeah, that's cool. You knew somebody with that central vacuuming system. Yeah, that always is very fascinating. Nice. Oh, very cool. K5, that's great. Sorry, my I could only, the way that screen was, I could only see two lines of the chat at a time. I got it going now. Thanks, Unknown Girl. I totally missed that. Oh. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, for repairs, that would be the only way. But yeah, there was some famous story about that, about a I think it was a or infamous story, I guess. The school bus company that kind of put themselves out of business by making too good a school bus. But first, you want as reliable as possible. You know, you want something carrying kids around to not break down. All right. What's... Oh, no. Where did I put... Okay, yeah, they are. Let me just make these... Multiply. There we go. Nice. All right. So, I guess it's time for some comments. And then we're going to have to write these jokes. Oh, no. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I really hate what they did with that combined chat. I can't break it out now. They want me to install some app to see the chat. That's ridiculous. Of course they do. So let's take a look at some comments. If I can get any of this working. So let's see. No. God damn. Yes, there we go. Why is it... Oh, that's strange. Okay, so... let's try this. Wow. I have no idea why this... Windows display capture is doing so badly. Da-da-dum. All right, let's try this. Okay, so this was February 3rd. Oh, actually, let's try February 8th has already gone out, but nobody's seen it yet. So we'll see how people respond to the coffee cartoon next week. Okay, so February 3rd, 2022. So his first morning brushing would also prove to be his last. And that's going to be a huh in the comments. A brush with destiny. Oh, that's great. Ed coming through with the pun. A brush with destiny. All right. And I think we've seen these February 1st. Oh, yeah. I kind of made that lid look like it had a pot already, didn't I? I kind of screwed that up. Using the wrong lid made things feel a little saucy. All right. Don't get too saucy or you'll get the wooden spoon laid on you. Nice. What? You egg. Probably because he's got a handle on the situation. Nice. Yeah, that lid is, I don't know what that's for. Coffee maker? It doesn't look like anything. All right. So I'm still getting some weird, unless I'm freezing. The video seems to be a little laggy. All right, back one more. I think we've, yeah, I gotta keep, yeah, I did see this because yeah, there we go. Huh. Their attempt to perk up the morning resulted in a large quantity of weak, disappointing coffee. Oh, that's right. We've already seen that. I hear nostalgia brewing. Good one. All right. And then some random... I can't believe I randomly look at these cartoons. There we go. There's a marker masterpiece. I'm curious too, because there's like 2,000 of these and the random still... Yeah, we already looked at this one. That's so strange. Waiting to be held somehow ruined the romance. Oh, there was another cup in there already. Yeah, I don't know if they still make those, but those little cup holders that just... You didn't have a... It wasn't an actual cup you put in there. Some of them are just a holder for an actual cup you could use separately. But some of them were for this weird thing that didn't stand up. You just kind of popped it in. So it was just kind of a liner for the holder. Very strange. There we go. There's an oldie. There was only one way to be refolded, and this wasn't it. Refolding a map. Yeah, I guess I needed to put a couple more creases on that. A 2003. Wow. 2003, that's 19 years old. Contents of something like eerily standing next to the container. Oh, it's another 2003. Wow. All right. 2015. There we go. That was a I don't have any ideas this week drawing. Nice. Yeah. There's some good people in the Go Comics premium members. I think they like cartoons and they like making funny jokes. Nice. Oh yeah, the Book of Maps. I forgot about that. That was a thing in LA. The is it Thomas Guide? There was literally a giant ring binder map, like a maybe like A4, like like a letter size map book. Maybe it's a little bit smaller than that, but it was just a giant grid of LA, and you would just follow through the Thomas Guide, and each like side of the map said, this is go to page whatever, go to page whatever, go to page whatever. Kind of a choose your own adventure. So pre navigation, pre like MapQuest, navigating in LA was all Thomas Guide based. Okay, starting the new year with a blank page felt somehow both tremendously liberating and completely terrifying. Ba-boom. Yeah, and I like the joke is that it's my my tablet pen and a blank piece of paper. Not much drawing's gonna get done there. Terrifying right up to the time when you put the first mark on the paper. Then it's ultra terrifying. Nice. Katina had some nice comments 7 years ago. All right. Katina? Oh, hey, Matt. Yeah, I think yeah, there's something. It's not saying I've got any dropped frames, so that's got to be on Restream's end, because I'm not dropping any frames here. It's nice and it's 60 frames a second, all smooth. But yeah, it sucks. Well, thanks, Matt. It was good to see you. Thanks for staying up, and I will be in touch soon with some full color art. And all right. So yeah, good night, Matt. See you later. Sorry for the fiasco of connectivity. I'm gonna have to figure out if Restream is gonna work. I think there's other people that do that as well. Maybe I'll experiment. I'll try another service. I'm sure it's all gonna be the same. The circle of death. Nice. All right. So the missing peanut butter was later found trying to make sandwiches with marshmallow fluff. That's right, marshmallow fluff. That's what that lid is supposed to be for. Oops, there we go. That's right, that was a fluffer nutter, right? The sandwich where you take the marshmallow fluff and then peanut butter. I can't imagine if that would be... I can't think that would be good. That doesn't sound like it would be good. Confess, it was my marshmallow peanut butter sandwich. Oh, it was. It's all the banana's fault. Wait, I've already been here. I've already been here. Damn. I just didn't like it when I was by the last time. But look at that render. That's definitely... What is this? 21. Yeah. That's definitely a... Wow, that's a marshmallow peanut butter joke in 2021. That's weird. See, I don't remember what's going on. Yeah, thanks for staying up. It's fun to catch people online. All right. So let's see here. Oh, I better double check my phone. Oh, that's right. It's threatening to update me to another version of Android. Great. All right. Okay, one more random. Sorry, I'll get back to this. 2014. Ooh, there we go. The last of the marker. Ice cream and pie suffered from being one of the least portable dessert choices. Oh yeah, it should have been hot pie, right? Maybe ice cream and hot apple pie. It's melted in a bag. Ew. I quite like melted ice cream. Yes. Actually, there's some manufactured carriers for full end slices of pie. Ice cream just loses out, except for those who like ice cream soup. All right, look at that. There's a cartoon with some character to it. Yeah, that was probably done marker still. So I was finally getting the touch with the marker down, and then I switched to only digital. All right. Good night, K5. Thank you so much for hanging out. Always good to see you in the stream, keeping you guys up late. It was supposed to be an earlier week until the infections happened. All right, so let's switch back to some drawing. All right. Yeah, I wonder what is going on. I don't have any... Yeah, what? Oh, hello? Yeah, the stream. It doesn't sound appealing. Yes, I think you're right, Unknown Girl. All right. Okay, so we've got a couple of brutal cartoons to write here. So at this point, this is something about Final Destination. Yeah, for a male, or wouldn't be reaching. So mishandling might be a good thing. So, so they're severe. This is quite an indictment of the. They're severe. Their final destination. That's nothing funny at all. Their severe mishandling made this their final destination. Something with something funny in there. Oh, thank you, Unknown Girl. Yeah. They couldn't agree on who had the worst job. Yeah, I think Matt's got that one. That's definitely the best. Yeah, that's a perfect word. This one, on the other hand, this mess of boxes. All right, so yeah, I don't want to get too dark or weird. Just something. Or just where they ended up here. Yeah, mishandling it. Maybe that's a little too ugly. Delivering something. Oh yeah, so maybe they were just ripped open and the contents are taken out, so they were all part of some horrific plan. I mean, that might be funnier. Um, uh, so realizing they were all parts. Elaborate. Through the mail, by mail, postal delivery. Oh, the other week a courier threw parcels over the back fence and didn't even knock on the door. Oh, that's insane. Yeah, I've seen some videos too, like people, especially the those people that have that ring or whatever, the doorbell with the camera in it. Been seeing a lot of videos of people just, I guess, to speed up their route or whatever, just chucking packages over fences and towards, kind of like how paper boys, throw newspapers, but just like, yeah, throwing boxes. That's insane that it's getting so bad. And it's, probably it's so bad because there's no accountability, because it's not like you do something like that and they're going to fire you because they don't have anybody to replace you. So yeah, that's really, really ugly. Is it the side that's more sensitive? I'm trying to get good mic placement here. I got to read more about this microphone. Okay. Maybe, okay, mail order. Some elaborate mail order. Something funny but extreme nightmare. Collaboration. What's an uglier word for? Well, it's part of some elaborate mail order nonsense. Yeah, right. Yeah, the paper's not going to break a window. It's not going to break. It's not going to get broken. But yeah, packages. That's just not. But people say that too. That people that have worked like temporary for like UPS or any of the, even the post office, like during Christmas season, that they're basically just kicking and throwing everything out of these trucks because they have to process things so fast and they're so overloaded that it's amazing that anything survives because of it's just brutal how they deal with packages. Probably the same with that. They process like recycled trash and stuff. They are part of some elaborate mail order scheme. Project. Project isn't very menacing. Mail order shenanigans. Yeah, mail order something bad. Plot. I don't want to sound like bombing or anything. Project is not very funny. Mail order. Damn. Scheme. No, that sounds like it's. Parts through the mail. Oh, shoot. Oh, sorry. I'll be right back. I think I hear the door. Sorry. This is for the worst stream ever. Be right back. Oh, sorry about that. All right. Yes. Plug in the socials. Sorry. Yeah, anybody trying to stay up late and follow the stream has got to have given up by now. So, all part of some elaborate mail order. Let's try. So delivered in pieces or something. They couldn't believe. This is no something like all the separate pieces were ordered by mail and put together to make something horrible. That combined, they could make something. No. So now they understood. No, why it couldn't be ordered in one piece. Hey Dillahan, how's it going? There's home CCTV footage of one delivery guy bringing a parcel to an address, taking a photo to prove. Oh yeah, I saw one of those. Prove then dropping it off and then whipping off with the package for himself. I saw that. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, because they do that now. The show a photo. Here's where I left the package. Oh, somebody must have taken it. Oh, it was me. That's so horrible. But I mean, so what is that? Is it people not being paid enough, or they're not vetting employees well enough? I don't know. Or just that whole idea, especially like with a company like Amazon or whatever, people are just like, they're so big, it doesn't matter. And then the people just have the inconvenience of reordering the thing. Nobody has to pay for it twice. It's just covered by Amazon. But yeah, I don't know. Oh right, okay, now they here we go, understood why parts were ordered separately. No, that's not. Something about the idea. They ordered everything separately. Something so terrible needed to be ordered separately. Yeah, right. Nice. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's crazy. There's been some pretty crazy videos. I've seen people chasing people away from their front porch and stuff. Yeah. I think things are just such a mess now because people don't feel that's an interesting. It's starting to change, and of course the foreigners here are they're bringing their foreign thinking with them, but most people in Japan have so much at least pride or responsibility or feeling like duty to their job that they wouldn't abuse it like that. But now that a lot of the Uber Eats and kind of like the Japanese equivalent of DoorDash employees are a lot of foreigners, they're doing kind of shady, weird stuff, and so some of that is finding its way here. But for the most part, the hourly paid employees, you really have a lot of they feel a lot of responsibility, or at least they don't want to ruin other people's day so easily, and they don't have that idea that it's a victimless crime, that stealing from Amazon or whatever is a victimless crime. I think Americans have that thinking very much, like you work at a big chain store or whatever, it's a victimless crime. They have enough money, they can replace it, whatever, and they don't realize it's just gonna raise the price of everything or whatever. Yeah, it's very different. Why they so some yeah, it's not coming across, but why the parts were ordered separately. Oh, it's not there anymore. That's weird. Wait, it should be. And then, yeah. Oh, no. Now they knew why the parts were ordered separately. I don't think that's coming across. I gotta give that a second. All right. Okay, Matt. Thank you so much for this one. So Matt's was, I might take your exact words. They couldn't agree. On who had the worst job. I should do maybe some suggestion of what would be in the bags. So a little bit of dust and fluff. And then something more horrible. Yeah. Let's try. I don't know what a good color for this would be. Yuck. All right. Thank you, Matt, for the good wording. All right. There we go. If you can't figure out what... oh, maybe wait. I gotta put something... Maybe something orange. Some delicious carrot pieces. Does that work? Oh, wait. On this layer. Yuck. All right, there we go. Enterprise. Oh, dang. You had the word there, Unknown Girl. Yes, Enterprise is good. Nice. Yeah, nice job, Matt. On who had the worst job. Yeah, we'll just let people figure out what's so horrible about this, about their jobs. I think the Go Comics people will have that down. They couldn't agree on who had the worst job. Nice one, Matt. All right. Now they news. Now they knew why the parts had to be ordered separately. Okay, something menacing. It's not what I wanted, but it's not a, that's not a, that image is a little too weird, I think. I'd imagine it's sometimes best to sleep on a project and come up with a punchline. Oh, yeah. No, Dillahan, you're right. Definitely to give this time. And it's also what I used to do is collect a notebook of jokes. Just be thinking about these, just funny images or just funny like phrases, like turn of phrases or whatever, and then illustrate those. And that seemed to work better. But when I started live streaming, there was something interesting and organic that came out. Because I'm really surprised, like when I go back to look at the cartoons from just the past couple of years, I don't remember making them as clearly. Like I don't remember, oh, that's my joke. It's like it's the right tone and everything, but the process is more organic now, the way that it kind of comes out of things. So it's more fun because I'm interacting with the chat, we're like talking about something. There'll be like a topic of discussion or something that will inspire a drawing or just a subject or just the phrase, one of the phrases. And so I like how that works kind of organically, because the cartoons don't seem to be, oh, the joke was first or the image was first. Maybe it's a little bit more because of the order I do it. It's more image first now, but I like the weird surprise and organic thing that comes out of doing this in the live stream. Had to be ordered separately. Now they knew why the parts had to be ordered separately. Okay. But yeah, it's time is always better. And even for the drawing, if I'm frustrated with a drawing, if I would leave it and come back the next day, you do have like fresh eyes and a completely fresh approach. So getting stuck, and kind of the live stream was my cheat from getting stuck, because if I just did this, and in the early streams you can kind of see that I would just sit when there wasn't really any activity in the chat. I was kind of talking to myself, or just people weren't interacting. I would just sit and be stuck on something and just spin my wheels, or just like, go in circles between the two same ideas that weren't very good. And the chat is really distracting and really helps me kind of refresh, because I'll get distracted by something, or somebody will say something that like changes the focus of the joke or the idea, and that works really well. So it has a similar effect to going away and coming back. But yeah, that's a totally good that's an excellent way to do things always. And on bigger projects and stuff, I have to do that a lot. It's just like, yeah, I'm not getting any further with this. I got to do this tomorrow. They couldn't agree on who had the worst job. Nice. Thank you, Matt. That's perfect. As long as I didn't screw anything up. Okay, good. Awesome. Well, guess what it's time for? This was an excellent find. I'm sorry that Matt and K5 couldn't be here for this. Hopefully they can see this on replay. But let's go to the convenience store. All right. So this, you see some of these things. So I had like the Mossburger potato snacks, right? That were flavored like a teriyaki burger. This is so bizarre. So chicken ramen. So this little guy here is the mascot. Oh, he's transparent. Is the mascot for chicken ramen. So chicken ramen is a very popular, especially for kids, kind of instant ramen, chicken flavored instant ramen. So exactly like the ones students eat in the U.S. It's just that little brick of dried ramen noodles with a little packet of chicken soup flavoring. But this is those noodles in chocolate. So chocolate flake. So it's a kind of a collaboration between chicken ramen and a chocolate flake. So chocolate flake is you can see. Oh, look at how convenient this is. So chocolate flake is this. It's little. I think it's like cornflakes or something in chocolate, like little clusters of cornflakes like dipped in chocolate. So kind of like the bake sale type homemade candies. And this is ramen noodles in chocolate. So your guess is as good as mine. How this is gonna taste. So because I don't think the ramen noodles, if they're salty, that would be good. A little bit salty, so it'd be like a chocolate covered pretzel. Or they don't have any chicken flavor. Chicken and chocolate would be horrible. Sorry, making so much noise. I'm just trying not to destroy the bag. So these are, really tiny. So these are little clusters of ramen noodles in chocolate. So let's keep the mic off camera. So let's see how this goes here. So crunchy. Whoa, crunchy like Rice Krispies, but the crunchiness is strange. Chocolate's a little too sweet. It's very. I think this is like very much like a kid's snack. But the noodles, I think, are rice noodles, so it's not much different from like a Nestle Crunch bar. But they're roasted or, you know, cooked differently than Rice Krispies would be. It's okay. You can't really taste the noodles very much. It's just the consistency of them. Yeah, but you can see. Look at that. Like little pieces of dog food or something. Visually, they're not very nice looking because it's like broken noodles. I guess that's a good way for them to handle all the broken noodle pieces that come off of their factory lines. Like when they make that brick. I'm sure there's little pieces that are tumbling into a crumb tray. Now they can just take them and dip them in chocolate. Yeah, they're not very nice looking. Chocolate flakes look a little bit better as far as a snack. Yeah, the chocolate's a very kids, like a sweet kids chocolate, like a milk chocolate. It's okay. Yeah, you can. It's a common snack here too. Is to have I think they're called baby. I've had them on Baby Star or something. Is the little noodles, like little pieces of the noodles, and they even make them press them into kind of little flakes or little wafers. Wow, it's very random. Yeah, it must have been like they were trying to solve the solution. We have to throw away all these like little pieces of broken ramen noodles. So what do? Let's put them in chocolate. Yeah, I'm really having trouble tasting the actual ramen noodle itself. It doesn't have enough flavor at all. So it's not salted. Well, I don't think. Wait a minute. There's a little bit. That was a little bit of like that salt chocolate flavor. So I guess if you get a big enough concentration, there's little pieces are kind of weird. Yeah, there is a little bit of that, you know, chocolate covered pretzel taste. So I think the noodles themselves are already salted a little bit. But it's a really minor flavor. Very odd. But I couldn't resist. Like as soon as I saw that little chicken ramen guy. Oh, you can't. Yeah, I guess you can kind of see him on the bag. The little chicken ramen guy. I'm like, whoa, chocolate, chocolate ramen. It is a very random. I'm sure it's just some facilities manager saying, "I know how we can deal with all the leftovers from chicken ramen." Yeah, chicken ramen. Zaku. Yeah, enjoyable. It's enjoyable to eat them in chocolate. I don't know. It's a weird combination. It's not quite as good. It's not as satisfying as a chocolate-covered pretzel, and the texture is a little bit surprising because the pieces are kind of random. That's an odd one. So I'm not sure. It doesn't say like super limited or anything, but I can't imagine this is going to be a staple. So yeah, it's chocolate flakes and chicken ramen collaboration. Maybe both of them were trying to figure out how to get rid of something they didn't want to have anymore. Yeah, it's very interesting. They don't look very nice. It's not very appetizing. So on the front, they had to make it look a little bit nicer because, as you can see, let me see if I can get a bigger one here. Yeah, as you can see, it's not very visually it's not very nice looking. But it's okay. It doesn't taste bad, but it's very mediocre. I was hoping it would be, you know, a nice salt and chocolate thing, but I think that they just use really cheap chocolate. Maybe a dark chocolate would have been better. Wow. So that's it. So no chicken flavor, just the character is the chicken. So ramen noodles and chocolate. That is a weird, that's a weird combination. So it's okay. It's worth trying, but it's not amazing. I was hoping it would be my new my new favorite thing. But yeah, it's weird. It's not a you know, one of those complementary combinations. It's just okay. I think the novelty of just those two brands will probably get people to buy it, just like it did for me. All right. I think that's going to do it for this week. Let's go back to the drawing. So thank you so much for joining both halves of this stream. I'm really sorry to have technical trouble again. I don't know exactly what's happening. I'm going to look at Restream and see if they give me any any real stats for previous sessions. Yeah, yeah. So the first part was only 40 minutes long. That really sucks. So I broke after 42 minutes. Weird. But thanks everyone for watching the stream, and Matt and K5, thanks for being there to watch my my failure, my complete failure to live stream. But we will be back again next week, and I can't be sure exactly what I'll try to be on earlier than usual, but it just depends on what's going on with school and all that stuff for the kid. So yeah, everybody take care, and we'll be back to do this again next week, I hope. And I hope I can sort out the whatever technical thing is going on here. It could be a coincidence that both internets just died. That doesn't seem very likely though, so I'm thinking it might be Restream. So I might switch one of the streams to a different service and just then compare how it goes. But yeah, until then, so abusecartoons.com if this is the first time watching. And thanks again to Zephalo on Twitch for following the stream. And I think the chat on Twitch I completely can't see. I'm so sorry how poorly this was done, but yeah, thanks so much for following and watching the stream, and hopefully we'll get one solid stream next week. Abuse Cartoons on all social media, and like you saw earlier, gocomics.com/domestic abuse for the archive of all of these cartoons for years and years and years, as well as some fun comments. And feel free, you can follow for free on GoComics and comment yourself in there. But thanks for joining me as always. I really appreciate the input and the interaction. The chat is always really nice, fun to hang out with, and really, really fun people. So thanks again for being here with me. I can't say enough how much it's changed, what I do on the stream and how much I enjoy. So yeah, Dullahan, Unknown Girl, very very good to see you guys, and take care until next time. And you can go back and watch me get cut off mid-story in the first half of this stream if it made it up. I think Twitch might put the pieces together, but I think YouTube will definitely have them as two separate videos. So we'll try this again next week, and everyone take care, be safe, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.